Good evening and welcome back to a nice drop of port. It is great to be back. It is great, of course, to be top of the league again. It's great to have a derby victory on the weekend. And it's just great to be part of this story, which is unfolding here in Auckland, New Zealand. A team that didn't exist 5-6 months ago is top of the league and just smashing it up. Fourth favourites for the A-League now. Tonight, we've got a really interesting show coming up. We're obviously going to be talking about the derby and how it went. First experience of such a game for thousands of New Zealanders, thousands of Aucklanders, I would say. The atmosphere was absolutely brilliant in there, and it was a great day out for a lot of people. I had a good day out myself. This evening, we're joined by Robbie's back in Sydney. How you going, Robbie?
Yeah, gutted to be back in Sydney, to be honest. It was a fun trip home, very short, but reality of life. I'm back at home, back at work, back looking after family. Yeah.
Come on, you work on the A-League. I mean, it's, you're back to more football. It's like a busman's holiday, you know.
This is true. Yes. No, it is good to be home.
It's good to be back. All right, we'll pick up with you in a second, Robbie. On the show tonight, Matt as well, our famous armchair critic of Mount Albert. You know.
Thank you. That's right.
All right, in the sky. Perfect.
Eye in the sky. Yeah, I like the armchair better. I like that. Much more comfortable. Yeah, get me out. Yeah.
That's right. So Matt's going to be able to give us some context that perhaps us that were in the ground again on the weekend would have missed out on. And also Nathan's joining us. Welcome back, Nathan. How you going, mate?
Thanks. Good, mate. Thank you. Yeah, very good. Looking forward to this. Yeah.
Yeah. Nathan, season ticket holder down at Mount Smart for the Auckland FC season. So going to be giving us a little bit of commentary as we go. All right, I think we'll start tonight with Robbie because Robbie, came back. You came back for the trip.
Yes.
Your first Auckland FC game in total, right? Yeah, live. Yeah, I mean, what was it?
In person? Yes.
In person, yeah. Obviously, you've seen them.
I worked on the MacArthur Unite round game. Yeah. But yes, first Auckland experience in person.
And what did you make of the experience?
I loved it. So my favorite ever sporting moment is 09, the All Whites Bahrain game. That is, as far as a moment, that's my number one. As far as atmosphere goes, Saturday surpassed that. Just in terms of overall crowd experience, the noise from minute 1 to minute 90 plus, it didn't stop. And the fact that Auckland won was absolute cherry on top. But yeah, that's up there for me in terms of my viewing, fan experiences. That is up there, easily top 3 for me.
Yeah, it was an incredible atmosphere in the ground. I actually arrived a little bit late. Late. I meant to get there as early as you, Robbie, but I didn't get there till 4:30 in the end. And it's just one of those times of the year, probably everywhere, and especially if you're a dad of children, you've got a lot of functions on. And just to let you guys out there know what I went through to get to this derby, I went through a full Santa parade, of which I bumped into Nathan actually down at the Santa parade. Bumped into Nathan at Santa Parade, and then I went on to a full 2.5 hour dance recital for another child. Sat through that, but it was only supposed to go on for an hour and a half. I'd had in my head that I was bang away out of there by 3:30, but no, it was going on and on and on. And I did the old trick, and I actually stayed for my daughter's dance, which was number 32 on the agenda. So I watched 32 acts, and then I was boom. As soon as the curtains went down on her one, I was like, ran out the back. 32 acts, 2.5 hours, all beautiful dancing. If you're watching out there, the dancers at the Waitakere School of Dance, give you a little credit there. And then I bowled down. I Ubered down to the stadium, and the Uber driver, of course, this will be a quick ride. I said, no, there'll be a lot of people going in this direction. It's amazing that still people aren't aware of it, and we sort of got the outskirts of Onehunga, and it was a proper football match. Nathan, what was your experience of the day? He's having a little gulp of Dutch.
Bit of water,
experience of the day, mate?
Yeah, it was great. We had a great old time. Sun was shining, and the kids. Obviously, we've got season tickets with our kids, so we take the boys down. Full ground. We actually did something different this game. We managed to get there early and sample the atmosphere beforehand, which was really cool. Enjoyed going into the bit behind the where the bank was. And like the attractions for the kids there playing football, and like it's a really it's really good, the atmosphere that gets built up. It's like it's real kind of family orientated. So I really enjoyed that. I also really enjoy. I didn't know they did this, but when the port enters the ground, like they all like queue up at the stairs at the other side, and then like going in unison like a bus or something. It's a little bit weird, but it's cool. And like it adds to the experience. Like here come the big dogs, like or whatever you want to call, however you want to frame it. So I know you're in that, Dale, but yeah, I thought that was great. So right from the start, we had a great time, and obviously, I thought this game more than any other game in terms of the crowd outside of the port picking up on the chanting and the songs was really good. Like there was a lot of interaction, certainly in the East End where I am. A lot of people were really getting involved with the chants and calls and all that kind of stuff. So from start to finish, really good. And even actually, I got to give a shout out in fairness to the Phoenix fans for the Yellow Fever. They did a good job. Like they really made that kind of banter kind of stuff back and forth. Like their flag, they're those flags up, didn't they? I can't remember what it was. The City of Fails. Thought it was classic. Yeah. It was absolutely, it's real good, really ironic, right? So good, really good fan perspective.
Great, yeah, and you're right. We're probably witnessing a bit of a first, really, to have two sets of New Zealand football fans kind of chanting back and forth. I mean, I wasn't down in Wellington, but I don't think I had that same vibe. And but with the port end there, right next to the Yellow Fever up in the top stand, it really felt quite good. Like I mean. Even at one point, all the one set of supporters looked at the other set of supporters and started doing hand gestures. It was a proper
wave.
Something like that with the hand.
Wrong finger, Nathan. I think. But yes.
it was moving side to side. It was just just did it the other way around.
That's right. It was great, and the whole crowd was behind the team, and it was wonderful. Yeah. What did it look like on the telly, Matt? Did you find a telly because you were traveling this weekend? Anyone in Tauranga watching it, or
did you actually watch the game, Matt?
Yeah, well, I'll get to. So I was traveling. I was traveling across the country, so downwards. So I stopped off at my auntie and uncle's place first, and watched the cricket there. I won't bore our listeners to any more cricket, but obviously the cricket was fantastic. And then I got to that moment where I was like, okay, I've got to try and time this to get to our next destination, which was about an hour. It was about 30 minutes away. And I knew that kickoff it's 5 o'clock, wasn't it? So, was it? Yeah. So we got to there. So got there in time, just about. Kind of walked in. My wife's friend was there. She had God knows what on the TV. I don't even know how to describe it really. And then got there, and I was trying to find a bit of the conversation where it started to lull a bit between my wife and her friend, and I was just kind of piped in there and went, "Oh, do you mind if I put the football on the TV?" And they were just like, "Yeah, we don't care. We're going to head off somewhere else." So I was like, "Oh, okay, perfect." So got on the sofa and turned the TV on. And I think I just turned it on. Pretty much, it just started to kick off, so it's perfect. And their old Labrador just came into the room where I was sitting because they'd vacated the room already, and he just kind of popped himself on the sofa, lay next to me, had the footy on. Happy days. I was a pipe and slippers away from a perfect moment.
He's perfecting this armchair football critic business. Perfecting it.
To all our listeners out there, I am only 30. It might be hard to believe.
I was going to say,
I am 30. I am 30. Just
keep yourself fresh, though. Eh? That's what it is.
Yeah, for those people that don't see me on the YouTube or whatever. I am of that age, so yeah. But it doesn't sound like it. But yeah, no, it's a perfect moment. It was
It was interesting because
you're younger than me, Robbie. You're younger than me, Matt. That's not great.
And me. Yeah. That's terrible, mate.
It's so bad. Oh.
I would lie. I was having the time of my life. It was awesome. The dog was no trouble. I was no trouble. The TV was on.
Kids being looked after by someone else.
Yeah, Michael was off. They were talking. They came and asked me what we were doing for dinner. I was like, I don't know. You sort something out. We'll do takeaway or something. And yeah, I was happy days. The Labrador didn't care. He was in his own world. So yeah, it's great.
It is funny. It is funny though, because I think I was asked by someone. I think Robbie was as well. Like, you know, we may have been recognised from the podcast, and I was also asked whether Matt's going to come to a game at some point. I think you were asked as well, Robbie, right?
As was I.
Yeah, people worried about you out there.
We've got to get Matt to a game. That's yeah.
I actually
correct quote is not good enough. Matt, you need to come to a game.
No, it's not good enough.
I actually think it's kind of like a really unique selling point, though. Like the guy on the Auckland FC fan podcast who doesn't ever go to a game. It's quite good.
deep down, I know it's not good enough. It's nowhere near good enough. But it's just about working. Until Dale says otherwise, it's just about working at the moment.
I think it's working okay. Well, we should go through your diary, Matthew, and we should line you up a football match to go to. All right. So, what are you doing on the 21st of December? Are you here or are you away? Or are you busy?
This is the funny thing. I never go anywhere. So I don't know how I've not managed to ever go.
It's always coming on.
How do I never go anywhere when I never go anywhere? I'm the most boring. It's the most boring enigma that anyone will ever hear. It's a boring enigma and an even more boring enigma.
You really are the Olympic flame. You just don't go out.
You never goes out.
Perfect. I am the perfect Olympic flame. Exactly. That's right.
That's a good one.
Or maybe
something will turn up.
We'll figure it out, Matt. Maybe you're a good person to start with for an analysis of the actual football, because you know I watched the game from two different places in the ground, and I just get so caught up in the game. It's only when I actually watch the game back on replay that I kind of really know what happened. What did you make of the game, Matt? It was
I'm just trying
to typical derby.
Yeah, I mean, that's the cliche, isn't it? That it didn't feel too much from the beginning. You know, usually the cliche is that the derby always starts off with a bit of a hiss and a roar, doesn't it? You know, everything's at 100 million miles an hour and people are running into each other. But no, not really. I just thought Auckland kind of almost went about their business as they kind of normally do. They looked pretty solid at the back, and there wasn't really much trouble. And you know, they kind of just arm wrestled their way into the game. You know, as the minutes tick over. I thought they started to take a bit of the hold of it. I thought they took control of the game for the vast majority of it, really. Wellington had their moments, and I think we'll get onto it, how they didn't seem to be able to put the ball in the back of the net from whatever it was, 6 yards or something. But I mean, Sakai was, he's, what did I say in my notes to you? He's mugging people off with his crosses and own goals. I mean, well,
he puts it in the mixer though. Like,
I think we
said
hard.
The last one that he scored, you hit it hard and towards some direction of the goal or a player in the box.
It's right where it needs to be. Yeah, I think a lot of people can sometimes. Yeah, I think people try and get a bit cute when it comes to sticking the ball. I mean, it's a tactic as old as day, isn't it? Really, that you get to the byline and you pull the ball back. It's extremely difficult to defend when the ball comes back at you from the byline. So
you can't.
No, it can't. It's almost it's so hard. Once you relinquish that side, it's extremely difficult to defend. So and then the second half, I thought they did quite well with Vestrata came off. I think with the is that see, that's maybe Robbie can probably fill this in with the A League. That was a concussion protocol, but.
No, there was a lot of confusion around that. It was
huge. We had no idea on the TV.
It later came out that it was a back injury.
Okay.
So I don't know the prognosis of that, for this weekend and going forward. But that was very confusing at the time, because I watched the game back as well, and commentators had no idea.
That's what they said. Yeah. The commentator said he's going through the protocols and he's being checked, and the way he was sat on the bench, he was sitting like he was ready. He could come back on.
Yeah, so, but the weird thing was, because I was in the East End as well, I saw him sit down, and it didn't look like he was getting concussion checked. It just looked like he's because I thought groin, that sort of thing, just the way he was moving.
Yeah.
He's a doubt. He's a doubt for the next game, though, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, if it is a back,
so.
that's not something you can shake off necessarily in a week's time. Maybe
we might miss him. We might miss him in the middle.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to mention. Yeah, who comes? I thought Rogerson, I think, came on for him. I thought he did.
Harrison.
Harrison. Yeah, he did particularly well when he came.
He did a very good job.
And he had a good game. Yeah,
traditionally been his role with Auckland City playing in the domestic comp. He plays as that kind of holder. Yeah, which is why I thought he would struggle for game time coming into the season, to be honest. But he held his own really well, I thought.
Yeah, it's encouraging, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, they're not going to be able to play the same 11 over and over again. Things are going to happen, aren't they? So that's quite a bright point. But and then obviously the game kicked on, and the second goal, and Wellington kind of pulled one back. But second half was a bit of a, I don't know. The second half kind of passed me by quite quickly. Actually, I felt. Can't think too much.
I think you're right. It was a bit of an arm wrestle, which Auckland, they did get there in the end. I think you're right. It was slowly built into some good Auckland sort of domination of the game, really. Yeah. They didn't look in trouble at any point. Even when Barbarouses scored the late goal, we were getting ahead of ourselves a bit. But well, let's bring Nathan in. What did you make of the second half and how Auckland kind of like held that 1-0 win? They didn't seem bothered whether they were going to get another one or not, really, but we got one and.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the I've jotted down some things about my overall thoughts on the game, and I did think that in totality it was the most complete performance so far that the team have done. Before it was good defense, not really happening in midfield up front, but on Saturday they were good in midfield, even when Harrison had to come on, and they looked threatening going forward. I thought. With being solid at the back, and with that, I think I got to give a shout out to Hall. He's been, I think, absolutely immense at the back. He's really, really impressing me. Like, I know he hasn't scored any goals or anything, but he holds that back line together for me, and he's so fast, so strong, so reads the game so well. Huge credit to him. But I think the second half was really interesting because they're 1-0 up. And you get to the 69th minute, and what seems to happen now is that around that point of a game, if they're winning, Corica puts Tommy Smith on, right? And he puts him on as a third centre half, right? And I know that what that does is predominantly to shore up the defence, but I don't think that they were under any pressure. It was weird to me. It was a strange thing to do with 20 minutes to go. They weren't under any pressure, and I know they scored straight after.
He came on. They scored straight away, didn't they?
Yeah. That's right.
But I think that's, to me, it's a little bit of a kind of worrying thing, because I think, okay, if 5 minutes to go, you're 1-0 up, or 7 minutes to go, you're 1-0 up, and you're defending with your lives, you whack the third centre half on. But what it kind of did. And you guys can disagree with me if you like, but to me, what happened was, because we had that third centre half on, the space in the middle became a little bit more open for Phoenix, and the goal came almost as a result of them being able to run through the middle a little bit more, and Barbarouses kind of breaking through without the pressure that had been on him. So I kind of think, I think it was a solid win, and like I say, best performance so far. But I'm a little bit worried about that, because if you're comfortable in a game and you're doing it, what are you going to do when are you going to put a third centre half on after 47 minutes if you're 1-0 up and you're struggling a little bit? Do you know what I mean? It's a bit of I don't know. Disagree with me if you like, but that's kind of at the time I thought it was weird.
I mean, the only I don't even know if it's a counter argument to that. It's maybe at that point of the game you're bringing on Tommy Smith as the experienced head to kind of finish the game. Like, he's known as the closer. And he does have the ability. Both him and Pinecker can play as a holding midfielder as well. See, I'm of the same mind as well. Like, it's a slight concern that they're bringing on another centre back, because then that makes it a defensive back five. Whereas I prefer one of them to push forward into that DM role and really kind of just anchor everything rather than clutter the back line. That's the only thing.
It's a minor gripe, isn't it?
I think Nathan's right. You should only really have 3 centre halves when you're hanging on, though. We never look like we're hanging on, but it was maybe it was a preemptive move. Maybe Corica got a wind of the way the game was going, and we were only 1 up at the time. I think Tommy got done on the turn. Tommy got done for pace for that goal, the Wellington goal.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
he did. Yeah. He's getting on his years now.
Yeah, and like I say, he's good. Like doing that is fine if there's aerial balls flying into the penalty area all the time, and you need someone who's going to throw themselves in front of the ball. But like that, it just wasn't happening like that. Like they were very much in control of the game, and it was almost conceding a little bit of the impetus. And I thought, like it was just to me, you kind of go, all right, I can see it with maybe 10 minutes to go, and if it's just still 1-0, but crikey, 20 minutes to go. I mean, I'm a Villa fan, right? So I'm used to seeing stuff like this happen. And what would happen historically as a Villa fan is that we'd be 1-0 up, and then we get deeper and deeper and deeper, and eventually the team that we were beating equalizes, and then we go on to lose, right? But there was none of that even in the offing on Saturday.
And that said, they did close the game out. I mean, Matt, what about from the? Wellington get the goal back, and it's kind of like the ground start. The people in the ground, we're all sort of like, oh, maybe there's a game on here. But did it? I mean, but then I feel that Auckland just sort of shepherded it home from there. Anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say it didn't seem to be too much of a panic. Yeah, that 5 at the back is a bit interesting. It's a bit weird as well because my football team play that, but they don't really bring somebody to play 5 at the back as if like there's a 5-man war. They kind of almost in possession or out of possession, the left back kind of moves in, it becomes like a 4, and the other guy kind of moves up a little bit. So, I wonder if he'll look at that and just think, I don't know if that's because the irony was that as soon as the third centre back came through, Auckland looked straight. Auckland, they could just
seem like a big hole.
Middle. Wellington, it was a huge hole. There was no, there was no connection between,
First time I've ever seen them broken down like that in
our team.
Games. Yeah.
I think DeVries and whoever was playing on the right, I think they did stay quite wide. I think they were still playing the role as if they thought they were playing when they first, Sakai. There didn't seem to be much of an organisation between, when we get the ball, we turn to this, and when we're out of position, we turn into that. But but they saw the game out quite well, I thought.
Yeah.
The thing that I just thought, if I was a Wellington fan, is that if they could have just put that ball in the back of the net when they had the chance for whatever it was, 6 yards, and then that was the time to score. And then obviously they got the second one. There's no knowing that they got the second one. But I think that was the chance for Wellington to get something out of it. Where in reality, they just saw the game out. Even though that goal went in, there wasn't a hell of a lot.
Yeah. So these are, I'm just putting Matt's ratings up on the screens. Paulson 7, Sakai 8.5, Hall 7, Pinnaker 7.5. DeVries 7, Verstraete 5.5. Is that right?
Oh, that's a bit harsh. Yeah.
Well, he got subbed in the 20th minute, didn't he? So I thought that was harsh because you usually start with a 6. So I don't know. For pulling the groin, you in my eyes, you get half a mark knocked off for pulling your groin.
Yeah, someone kicks you, get an injury, you get a point off.
It's a tough school. It's Birmingham League. Yeah,
I see your mate Jake Brimmer's got a 7 though.
7.
I know. Brim. I know. I thought that might.
I think he's a good player. Like he looks like one of the only ones that can do something a little bit out of the ordinary going forward. And I think he's great.
Yeah, he's getting better. Yeah, I feel like I should leave Robbie to Brimmer. He can do a hell of a lot better defense job than I could for Brimmer. But
Gillian, not his best game. Gillian, it was a bit tight for Gillian.
No, that pains me. Pains me to give Brimmer 7 and Gillian 6. It really does. But I've got to be fair. I have to be. That's kind of how I think it shook out in the end.
What do you reckon, Nathan?
One of the things I also did think it's interesting. You've given Rogerson, old Logie, a 6 there, and like I'd be tempted to give him a little bit less than that. I'm a little bit. I like Logan. He came to my club and I met him. He's a real nice guy, and he did well in that opening game. But ever since then, he seems a little bit nervous. He seems to be playing within himself. He'll get the ball, go backwards. He'll get the ball, go sideways. You never see him getting the ball and driving at someone. And really, in that position that he's playing, which is like a Gillian, you don't see him do it. And I kind of think, I'm sure you've got it in your locker. So, and I don't understand why he's not doing it right, and that kind of it does concern me a little bit that he's not, and he keeps on being pulled off, and you kind of think, oh, okay, there's another game gone by when you haven't done anything really. I'm not,
I'm surprised that he hasn't give Toomey a go for Rogerson,
because he's looked lively when he comes off the bench.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what more he's got to do to. If he may have already had a start. I don't think he has, but if he has, then obviously I'll take it back.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised. I'm not sure what more he could do.
Although he's predominantly come on the left side in place of Gillian, so I don't know if it needs someone who's more closer to the ground if he can play on the right or not.
Moreno,
but I certainly hope Rogerson kind of finds it, because you can see there's something there.
Well, he scored the first goal first week, wasn't it? The late back post. I mean, a beautiful run. So he's got positioning sense.
Sure.
And he's good you can see he's got good technique, and he's got good skill about him. He kind of he gets the ball and then he just doesn't seem to want to drive with it or go racing, take a player on. He kind of just will check and come back and keep possession. And you just think in the wide positions where you've got to create, you'd expect Gillian to get on the ball and whack it, use his pace, right, and go around whoever. Rogerson doesn't really have that pace, so you're kind of okay, do something. And
Well, just quickly, I'll jump in. There's a couple of comments coming through on the YouTube, and keep sending them through, guys. Danny Ledger, I think Logan will do more damage off the bench, confident against tired fullbacks. And then Angelo Tyro, Joey Champness. What is the story with him? I don't even know.
I heard him talked about early season and then didn't hear about him.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what the go is there, because he's definitely a winger who can play either side and is very dangerous on his day.
Yeah, some good points there. Look, I've got some, we've got some facts and figures. Records have been broken again. I'm just gonna run through a couple of them real quick, okay? So as we know, Auckland won all 6 games, making them the most successful new team in Australian football history. We know they won their first 4 games, but their 6th straight victory took them past Western Suburbs, who won 5 in a row at the start of the 1977 National Soccer League season. So they're smashing really old records, old Australian, New Zealand records.
Yep.
Incredible start. As we know, 532 minutes for Auckland to concede their first goal, which is an Australian football record. Auckland claiming, as we talked about before, the highest attendance regular season, 26,253. Little bit of confusion about that, because it was just one more than Wellington had for the fixture 5 weeks before. It's very convenient. But we hold the record. This is a good stat: 78,136. That is how many people have attended Auckland's first 4 home games at Mount Smart Stadium, which has taken them past the former Auckland A-League team, New Zealand Knights, total attendance over 21 home games in their entire existence, which was 05 to 07. So fantastic. And the last one is that the Phoenix, even though they did marginally better than New Zealand Knights, of course they did a lot better, they only managed 5 wins in their first inaugural season. So Auckland have already done that. So some incredible stats there. Oh, one more. They're also, we know they're at the top of the table with 18 points. They've got a 17-point lead over the Brisbane Roar, who are bottom of the table. And I think potentially Perth as well. So I mean, 17. Jeez. I mean, we played Brisbane on the first game, and I remember we had the Brisbane fan on. We'd known then we'd be 17 points clear of them after 6 games.
I think we all picked a draw. I think we all picked a draw on that game as well.
And bit of news this week. Well, bit of scuttlebutt rumor. Call it what you want. Word on the street. The coach Ruben Zakovic might be in quite a bit of trouble. There's a certain, for you sleuths out there, there's a certain former A-League legend who's sniffing around, who's just opened an academy in Brisbane and is very keen on an A-League head coaching role.
So there you go.
Watch this space.
Interesting goss.
Yeah.
The figure is he's got 2 games to save his career. That's the rumor.
Wow. His job.
But save his job. Yeah.
It's like that's it. You are. It's ruthless in the A-League.
I was going to say, if you get fired once, can you never come back?
You should just go to the Premier. You go to the Premier League. You get sacked, and you just get another job, and then you get released. You just get another one.
10 million quid a year, eh? Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. I love that. I think a lot more should lose their career in the UK for some of the way they manage some of the teams. But yeah,
that's right.
So the sack race is on. Gone by Christmas, maybe, for the Brisbane Roar coach.
Potentially.
They are 17 points behind us. I mean, what does he expect?
Yeah. Can you say who the legend is, or is it all a bit hush hush? You can't.
Well, no, it has been named in articles, and it's not linking him with the job. It's Bessard Berisha. Not Del Piero. He's the second highest goal scorer all time in the league. He won multiple championships with Victory, Brisbane Roar, and finished his career last year. He was an assistant coach for a Kosovo League Premier League team.
Okay.
So
they don't always make the best managers, though, as we know.
No, that's right.
No. If anything, it'd be very interesting because he's a fiery character. He once challenged Sydney Brisbane game. He once challenged the opposition centre back to a fight in the car park. Like literally took his shirt off at full time, ran down the tunnel. He's that kind of character. Imagine if he brought that as a coach.
This is a good segue into the Bemby versus Chiefy. We're getting into the nicknames, right? And so I mean, for those that don't know, who wouldn't know, obviously there was a bit of beef leading up to the derby. The Wellington coach basically came out in the press and said that Auckland had been lucky. Sort of further clarified it after the game, but lucky with the draw, lucky to have so many home games seemed to be the sort of direction of it. And that didn't go down well with Corica and the Auckland staff and players. And I understand he did the old classic thing, like slap the quote on the dressing room wall, to wind them right up. And so obviously it worked. They came out and won the derby. And then we understand there was a little bit of afters as well, which we picked up on another podcast, another A-League podcast. And there was a little bit of from the Auckland FC coaching staff, I believe, giving a little bit back to the Wellingtons. They came off and who's lucky now, or something to that effect. Maybe some spicier words in there as well. So, Robbie, do you know much about that one?
Yeah. Only what was heard on the A-League Off-Air podcast with some of my work colleagues here, Robbie Thompson, Daniel McBreen. Apparently there was some words said. Danny Hayes' name was mentioned in passing. Words to the effect of show us some respect, with a little bit more seasoning on that. It's good fodder. I love it.
Oh, it
is. Oh, it's great. It's great stuff.
We love all this. We love it all.
It's great.
Yeah.
I saw Corica say that in his post match about showing us respect and that kind of thing. And like, I feel like it's a little bit disingenuous to say that the Phoenix have been lucky. Auckland have been lucky, because Sydney are no mugs, right? For let's be fair, Phoenix are no mugs. No. They were second in the or whatever last season, so they got to the semi-final or final, whatever, right? And you think, and this is a team that's started from scratch, so it's a bit of a weird mind game for me. Like, I know that it's obviously a little bit of that, just a bit of needle because it's the rival on that, but like. I don't know. I don't know if it was it. I don't know if it was an easy draw. Do you? I mean, I think that they've had some pretty decent opponents.
Yeah, that's the thing with the A-League. There is no such thing as an easy game, because you really can't. And I said it the other week. It's a tipping nightmare. You think one thing's going to happen, and then the complete reverse ends up as the result. Yeah. So look, and this is Corica did say, you need an element of luck to win games, obviously.
Yeah,
but
sure.
It's not like Steve Corica had control of the draw. No, you can only play what's in front of you, and the fact that there were 4 home games obviously helps them. Yeah, but to say that, I mean,
it's a bit disingenuous to say that 5 out of 6 were at home as well. Was the quote I saw, and obviously one of them was down in Wellington.
But yeah, I achieve his
He's
point.
saying we didn't have to travel to Australia and all the travel time
correct.
and whatnot.
Correct. Yeah. Whereas Wellington had to travel to Perth, to Melbourne as well.
It's tough.
So could he have chosen his words better? Maybe. I think his point is obviously it's very rare, if ever, to see a team given 4 to 5 home games to start a season. Okay. But then, as Corica said, coming back, the flip side is you're going to have to play those 4 or 5 games away from home at some point.
Well, that's right. It's going to come around eventually. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It swings and roundabouts.
Yeah. It's all going to come out in the wash in the end.
Exactly.
Yeah. And presumably, I mean, our next run of games, there's a smattering of away fixtures in there. So I guess the next 6 games might show us a little bit what this team's made of potentially with those away games in there now. Yeah, they are big. They are big distances to travel. All right, thank you very. Hey Nathan, we're gonna switch you off. You look like you've had a big first half, and some,
thanks, mate.
some good little skills in there.
Great to be with you boys again.
Great to have you on, and we'll definitely have you back. And
awesome.
Enjoy. You obviously you go into the home game before Christmas. You're going to be up to that one.
Yes, we'll be there. Yeah,
21st. Yeah, lovely. All right, We'll say cheerio to you, mate. Thank you very much. Hold on. How do we get him off? There he is. He's gone. All right. There he is.
Very efficient.
Very efficient. Yeah, I've put my webcam in the way of where the buttons are.
Yeah.
But, as you know, we want to sort of cycle a few different Auckland fans through, and I was kind of having a think about this the other day. Being a football fan of a team. It isn't just about like going every week, it's not about going every week. It's not about being in the loudest part of the crowd. I feel like I love what the Port have done and the people that have organised that. And I enjoy going in there. And I went in there for the first half of the game because I do love it in there. It is pretty nuts, and it was peak Port, on Saturday. It was hot. There was people just everywhere crammed in. I think the actual stewards were getting a bit upset because the people were standing in the gangways. So I had that sort of experience, and I thought, a mate texted me and he said, I'm just sitting up on the grass verge there. And I thought I'll go over and see him at half time. But it became apparent to me I wasn't getting back in the Port because there was too many in there. I think they stopped people going back into the Port, and our next guest I think was in there, so he can talk a bit about that. But I actually went and sat up on the grass verge with my other mate for the second half, and it was another lovely experience. Lots of people just sitting around, like they bought some eating some snacks and a little bit more of a low key thing. And I thought what, this football club is for everybody. It's even for Matt that doesn't even go, but he watches it on the telly. I mean, it's for all of us.
I'm glad it is. I really am. Why do you think I'm not turning up? I think it's gone past the points where I'm just fearful for turning up now.
We're going to start a campaign. Hey, joining us now is Samson. Welcome back, Samson, mate. How are you going?
Hey, very good, man. Thanks for having me back on.
That's all right. I really enjoyed talking to you last time you came on, and then I met you down before the Newcastle Jets game, and you had already had a little bit of Thai whiskey, you were telling me at the time, and you seem to have had more than a little bit actually. Guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. But so you've been to a couple of games now. What was your what's been your take home so far? Your experiences of going to these matches?
So I've been in the Port both times, and it's really been something I haven't experienced before. Like I'm diehard sports fan. I follow everything. I'll sit through all 21 stages of the Tour de France type of thing. Like I love every sport, and from a New Zealand experience, the Port and being in that atmosphere is unlike anything I've ever had before, and it's just surreal, and it's so cool to have that at home in Auckland.
Yeah, so literally the first time you've ever experienced it.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I've been to All Blacks games and everything like that, and it's just really more than I ever hoped. It's just phenomenal.
What was Derby Day like for you? Like, did you get in there early?
Yeah, personally, it was a really awesome day actually. So I had my birthday when I was overseas, and the guys, while I was away, I'd been telling them all, "Oh, guys, there's Derby Day coming up. It'll probably sell out. Tickets are looking like they're going." And anyway, thought everyone blew me off, and I was just thinking, "Oh, whatever, I'll just go with the same group of us. There's 4 of us with season tickets, so I'll just go with them again." And rock up at my mate's place to have a couple of drinks before we go to the stadium. Walk in, and there's 8 lads in the lounge there, and surprise, late surprise
awesome.
birthday party. And then rock up to Mount Smart, and then a couple more guys find us in the crowd as well. We ended up with 12 of us here, and it was just a really
nice,
really cool vibe, and it just really kind of brought the atmosphere. And then there were people we met last game as well, and it just really made it a really good time.
I think you're right. I think making connections is one of the greatest things that's come out of this for me, this team. And like bumping into people who want to talk about the football, or my experience at Derby Day, like I said, it started at the Santa Parade, and then I found myself right at the end of the day at midnight in a flat actually close to Mount Albert that I'd never been to before. And so what a day I had, sipping port on the balcony of an apartment block. This was my mate who I'd sat on the Green Verge, Jack, that came on our show the other week. And I thought that, I would never have done this if this football team hadn't have been started. And I thought this is so good on so many levels that I sat in Lily World after the game for a few hours having a few beers with Jack. And I know it was a real outing, Robbie. I tell you, I called Robbie, and Robbie's like in the car often. I was like, Robbie, I'm in Lily World. I'm digging in here.
Yeah, the funniest thing was because I was with my mate Sam, and his daughter was in the back seat, and we were having this conversation, and then when you hung up, the kid behind me was like, he swore. I think he's drunk.
He's been in Lily World too long.
Yeah. No, I'm gutted I missed you at Lily World. I was hoping to, but obviously with kids,
next time. No,
I met an old Labrador.
You just sat with an old dog on a sofa.
I met an old dog that just needed a bit of company. I needed a bit of company.
Bringing
there are a few of those at the game as well.
And animals together.
Dogs together as well. Yeah.
I'd say your stories are beating the crap out of my old Labrador story. Maybe it's live. You can't even cut it out. I'd have lied about something more interesting, but I know your stories were going to be as good as they are.
Yeah, but it's great, Matt. We'll get you down there. Don't worry. We'll get you down there.
Yeah, I'll bring the Labrador.
Yeah, that's right. So what do you make of the game, Samson? I mean, you're in the port again. Were you in there for the whole time? Because I was just saying before, at halftime I left, and I don't think people were getting back in. It was quite raucous in there this week, huh?
Yeah, no, I stayed the whole time. I had some mates go out and do the booze run for all of us, so then they got back in no problem as well. So, but it was definitely shoulder to shoulder, and I guess from that we've seen a bit of the talk this week about the port. Is it possible to expand across base 21, base 23 as well? And because that was just insane how close it was. I've got bruises on the back of both my calf muscles from being pushed into the seats behind me. So
yeah,
I do think, and this isn't the club or the stadium's fault at all. I mean, I think there were more people in that bay than there should have been. And I think they're probably going to look at that. And it is. I mean, we won't get too much into it because people can sit and stand wherever they want down there and you get your ticket. But it's kind of like, I think a lot of people have a ticket for the port, and then there's like too many in there. Like they don't want to sit down; they want to stand. So I think they are going to have to designate a couple of bays for standing, probably going forward, especially for the Derby days.
Yeah. Well, even if they eventually look at, I mean, I don't know how. I can't remember how long Auckland FC are at Mount Smart for. I think it was 3, possibly longer initially. But even if the stadium looks at going down the route of a combat stadium where the RBB stand, it's a safe standing grandstand, basically. So they've got the standing bars in place as well as the seats. So you obviously have the option of sitting or standing. Maybe that's an option for the club to look at with the stadium, potentially.
5 years. Woodward Games is saying on YouTube, 5 years we're at Mount Smart. 5 years.
Okay.
It's a long time.
Whether that's something that's worth looking into, because then you kind of negate that issue to an extent. I suppose.
There were places in the stands in the port this week that were 2 deep per row, like it was 2 people, one in front of the other per row.
It is a problem with the seats in there, like you say. There could be some accidents happening in there, but I mean, I think did you see any drama in there, Samson? Was everyone sort of safe enough in there?
Yeah, there was a bit of a scuffle at half time. Nothing over the top though. People moved away and everyone kind of dealt it. We all support the same team at the end of the day, so yeah. But otherwise, like mostly, like 99% of the people are there for a good time. There's 1% of the people that'll, and that's just in life in general.
That's life, exactly. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Well, let's have a little chat about the next game. We've got Melbourne City coming up. They goodness, what do we know about them? They play in Manchester City colours and are owned by the same outfit that owns Manchester City. One much like ourselves, I guess, with Bournemouth. Robbie, what do we know about Manchester City? What do we know about Melbourne? Don't talk about them. What do we know about Melbourne City?
Please, man.
Well, they're a team that have been a little hot and cold up to this point, but worryingly, having seen the last couple of games, they are coming into some form. Where are they? Sitting 4th at the moment, so 4 wins on the season so far. All of them have actually, quite ironically, have come away from home. So they haven't actually won a home game this year.
Yeah.
Which bodes well for us. So both home games this season, they lost the derby to Victory 3-1 and then went down to the Wanderers 2-0, and they were their 2 worst performances of the season so far. Interesting team. They've promoted a lot of youth over the past couple of seasons. I think it's 10 to about a dozen young kids have stepped into the senior squad, and the majority of them, I think there's maybe 1 or 2 that are long-term injuries, but the bulk of them are regulars in the matchday squads now. So good. The academies come through. They've got their mix of overseas players right as well. There are a couple of clubs that are struggling with that in Perth and Brisbane who haven't, for whatever reason, their imports haven't quite hit the mark, but Melbourne Cities have. Last weekend against Brisbane, Andreas Kuhn, an Austrian defensive midfielder, and an Israeli forward by the name of Jonathan Cohen. Unbelievable games from them last season. So they're the key players for Auckland to worry about. But as far as a team goes, City, I think if they can keep this form up and bring in their big name Socceroos who are some long-term injuries, Matt Leckie, Mark Attilio, possibly coming back in the next month or so. Andrew Naboot's done for the season, I think, with his knee. But if they can get a full healthy squad, they are a dangerous team.
Is this going to be our biggest test yet? I mean, obviously we did play Sydney, but it was at home. This sounds like the biggest test yet, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's because they're traveling, they're hitting Australia.
Chiefy will like that.
Chiefy will like that. The caveat to
seems to have a lot to say about our schedule.
Yes. The funny thing is because they have travelled, but they played at a neutral venue, so the home team wasn't even at home.
True.
So I don't know how much weight you give that, but this is definitely their biggest test now, having to travel to Melbourne, which traditionally the Kiwi teams don't do well in. I was looking it up before. So Wellington, when they've played Melbourne City at Amy Park, they've only won once, and that was back in 2013. That's over the span of 19 games. Against Melbourne Victory, they've only won 3 times at Amy Park. The last one was 2015. So it's not a great travel ground for New Zealand teams. Auckland, obviously, this is the first time, but it's a tough place to travel and it's a tough place to win.
Yeah.
Big crowd?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask about the crowd.
Not really. City.
Not really.
Not really. Victory have the bigger set of fans. They're the more established team in Melbourne. Yeah. City, when they're doing well, they can get a few more people, but traditionally they're sort of less than 10,000 to games.
Yeah. All right.
It's enough.
What do you reckon, Matt, about our Auckland team going across there? Then, I mean, how do you think they're going to fare?
Yeah, I think I wasn't quite sure at first, but now the way Robbie's talked about it, I think I think it's going to be pretty tough. Yeah, Melbourne City, they're always the team that they're the team that stand out for me a little bit. I think it's because of that Man City connection.
The connection, yeah, they look the same.
But then when Robbie continued with the Melbourne victory, because I think I actually when I was backpacking, I think I actually went to go and see Melbourne victory. And is it Marvel Stadium? I think they played.
Well, that's one of the biggest. That's one of the big stadiums in the city.
I think that's where I went and watched. So, but
it's been a big game.
I think it's just going to be tough. It's just to me, they feel like one of the premium teams in the competition. They're the ones that stands out for me. And yeah, as Robbie started to reel off some of those players, I know the. I think I watched Israel play, so I think I saw a bit of that guy that plays up front, and he's pretty handy. So I think they're going to have their work cut out.
Yeah, I think if Verstraete is key. If he can come back, I'd feel a lot more. I don't know if confidence, the word comfortable. I think House is going to do a job, but it's going to be tough stopping those two, especially.
Yeah, I think they need him back. So I think they're going to try. Yeah. I can see exactly how Auckland are going to try and tackle this game. They're going to. It feels like they're going to go for a perfect Auckland performance. It's just going to be super tight. They're not going to give anything away at the back. You know, they're going to try and win the midfield.
Why change the formula? I mean,
yeah.
You know, they need to dominate the game, strangle the game, like you said, get their noses in front. Sakai is going to do a run down and smash it really hard and low.
Smash it off someone's legs.
And it will fly in the net off something. And we'll be 1-up. I mean, what does Corica do if we go 1-up? That's a good question. Samson, you've seen
one down.
I want to know what happens if we go 1-up over there. Like, are we bringing Tommy Smith off straight away? Samson, we got any thoughts about how we might set up over there?
I mean, Tommy Smith. I'm a big Tommy Smith fan, so I'd always support that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I guess it comes down to how long into the game we are. It's circumstantial, just thinking on the feet type of thing. And if it's in the first 10 minutes, then go for more. If in the last 10 minutes, close up shop.
Yeah.
And
what about the other way, Matt? What do you reckon? 1-0 down.
I don't know. I was going to throw that one out there.
Away from home.
I have no idea what he'll do. It's going to be interesting to see because there's just nothing. I mean, maybe Robbie could.
We've not gone one down yet, so it's hard to know how these. But
Steve Corica's been at somewhere else, hasn't he? So maybe he has a certain kind of pattern that he likes to maybe revert to. But essentially, you just got to think on the feet, really, haven't you? You've got to look at the players you've got and who you've got out there and what you can exploit. And can he pull a game around? Can he rescue a game from 1-0 down? That'll be interesting to see if he can do it.
Yeah, it's a big question. I can't think off the top of my head what he was like back in Sydney when they went down, but I know like he's a fighter of a coach. He's very bullish, and he'll keep pushing his team regardless.
Yeah.
So he put some confidence in that.
Yeah, he doesn't look like someone that just is going to lie down and take it, does he? I think he's coming across as a manager. He obviously knows he knows what he's doing on the pitch, but he does come across as quite someone I think he quite enjoy playing for. When I
does Corica play to the conditions, play for against who set up for who he's playing against, or is he sort of got one style and sticks to it, Robbie? Like, and I just mentioned that because, as you know, I'm a Spurs fan back there, and people are criticizing Ange Postecoglou, right? Saying we love him, we love what he's done, but he only seems to be able to play one way. And if you only can play one way at any level, you're eventually going to get found out. So I'm interested to see what Corica's form is on this type of thing.
Yeah, I think one of the criticisms of him at the back end of his Sydney tenure was that he was quite inflexible, similar to an Ange, that he wouldn't necessarily change things up. So, I mean, in a way, the fact that he's doing that with Tommy Smith is more against the norm from what I've seen of him in the past. But as far as a horses for courses thing, that's not really Bimby's go from memory.
He's got his way.
He's pretty loyal to his formation, his system, and his players.
Yeah.
It's going to be a test for him for sure. Like the moment Auckland does go down in the game or down by a couple, what he does to change that.
And he doesn't know either.
Happens.
He doesn't know what their players are going to react. Some are going to, some are going to pull their socks up, and you're looking at people like Sakai and debrief, or people in the middle. They're going to, the manager can do what he likes, but you've got your kind of lieutenants on the pitch that are going to turn around and say, we're not out of this. We've conceded a goal, but we can pull this. We can pull this back.
I just want to read out one of my favourite comments so far is from Angelo Tyro. Who said we were talking about the game coming out. He says, "Well, for one, the Black Knights must stop Erling Haaland." Wonder what Erling Haaland would do to Tommy.
Christ, that'd be quite a sight, wouldn't it?
He's a good player. I digress. Samson. So let's get into predictions for the game. Samson, mate, do you want to go first? What do you reckon this weekend?
Low scorer. Very defensive team. Melbourne City is probably a little bit hotter on attack. So I think 1-0 to us.
Yeah.
Go for
1-0's
7.
not a bad shout.
7
even. 7 in a row. All right, Robbie. Give us it.
I kind of think 2-1 again, and for Auckland. I think both sides do have goals in them. I do rate us defensively better than City. This might be the game that we go down first, whether we go behind. But I
still think we need another win.
I just trust what this team is built on, and there is a resilience there. The fact that I forget what the number was, but the bulk of their goals come in the last quarter. So this team's got fight. This team's fit. I think they can do it again. I haven't seen anything contrary to that thus far. So I have no reason to doubt it.
No. Matt?
3-3.
3-3. I don't see
Gillian.
3 goals.
Gillian hat trick.
Gillian hat trick.
Gillian hat. Is it? Hold on. Is it a perfect?
And
hat trick? Oh no.
It's not. It's not going to be a perfect hat trick this time. But they all going to be in the correct net. There's no own goals in this prediction anymore.
No own goals.
It's a 3-3. It's a Gillian hat trick. God knows what's going on the other end, but something's happening.
Well, Gillian did score against City in the preseason game that Auckland lost. So
So he knows the crack. Okay. I think he's gonna. This is gonna be his game. This is the one that we've all been waiting for. Yeah.
Lots of goals. See, I kind of think the opposite to you, and I was thinking about going.
I would do that.
Going for a nil. Thinking of going for a nil. I think every now and again, when you least expect it, the game of football throws up a 0-0. And like no one can make anything count. It's one of those dull sort of games. Or it's going to be. I think it's going to be a draw or a 1 each. A 1 each with a. I'd like to see in Auckland. I'd like to see what happens when they go a goal down. And I think if they go a goal down, I think they will have the mettle to pull something out of the bag, and that would. I think we did a 1-1. That'd almost be like a win. If you went 1-0 down away from home, battled your way back.
Like I said, traditionally not a great place for Kiwi teams. And question on the chat from Woodward Games to us: what would you do if the team were down a goal?
I'd take Brimmer off, and
first move.
He's obviously done nothing.
We need to get Jakey on the show. Seriously.
Yeah, even though he has been by far the best player on the pitch, he's off. he's just been pulled off. And I tell you what, I like Moreno when he comes on.
Yeah, I'd have Moreno come on, Toomey on, so, a couple of bit of energy.
Moreno would definitely be somebody. I think I'd like to see him. Shadow May or whatever. Yeah, I think I could see that maybe happening. I think he gets a bit isolated at times just because the way Auckland's set up. So I think if they went 1-0 down, I think they definitely have somebody supporting him a little bit.
It's one of those when the game of football's like being played out, it's so quick and frenetic. It's not really so much what you do; it's what the opposition are doing as well. And Yeah, I think just mettle and heart and kind of we might have to see this Auckland team battle out a couple of results somewhere along the line. That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Something along those lines, I think it's been alluded to from the team is the port and the fans. You know, we're the 12th man as well, and there will be times where we go down, and there will be times we're not going to win every game. You know, it's there will be a loss one day, and we just need to keep behind them. You know, you just keep the crowds coming, keep the noise going. We're 1-0 down, keep singing, keep chanting, just get really behind the lads. And I think that's an important role of us as fans as well.
Totally. Well said.
Absolutely. And I think people say, oh, Aucklanders are fickle, but these are football fans, you know? And I think, you know, that is part of it, taking the defeats, taking the different results, you know, not, to be honest, my favorite game has actually been when we beat the Newcastle Jets, because it was absolutely pissing down with rain in that ground. Yeah. And you know what, like people were just still going, you know, and I thought actually, yeah, this is going to be all right, you know. Like if we can take being drenched for 3 hours, we can take a dodgy result, you know.
Yeah. Which, and to be fair to the club as well, like what they've been able to do in and around the game itself to make going to Mount Smart worthwhile, regardless of weather, regardless of result. If you have a good time, you're going to go back. So, you know, I think the key difference with this Auckland crowd compared to previous or even other codes is that this crowd is engaged with the club. And, you know, what the club puts out on social media, what they do, you know, that it doesn't even go on social media, like visiting clubs, doing all those sorts of things. It means that they're connecting with the fans, and that's the key thing.
Yeah. Well, that's why Nathan, that was on before, that's why he bought a season ticket, because they just came down to the local Te Aratu club, and I think he was thinking about buying 1 or 2 tickets, and then he sort of had a few beers, and
I was going to say some lemonades involved.
The event caught up with him, and he bought himself a season ticket, and his family. So I mean, that's a lovely thing. Yeah, and and like I keep saying through this, it's the building connections as well, and meeting new people, and you know, I at one moment I sat there on that grassy bank in the second half, you know, and I'm thinking I'm sat here at a crucial football match. There's 26,000 other people in here. Like, what would all these people be doing if we didn't have this football team now? You know, people are starting to build their lives around it. Well, Matt's building his life around it as well. You know, he's got, you know,
on a Thursday night for the podcast.
For the podcast, you know.
Yeah.
But we're going to start a campaign. Get Matt to the football. Get Matt to the wedding on time. I think, you know, we'll try and get
save Matt
traction. Save Matt from the couch.
What's the best bribe you can offer?
Yeah, exactly.
How can I bribe you? You don't drink. You don't eat meat. What can I get you?
Thai whiskey.
Thai whiskey. You've had Thai whiskey though, eh, Matthew? Matt, you've had Thai whiskey.
Yeah,
I've seen you on Thai whiskey.
Yeah, that was
Monsoon Poon 2007.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I haven't heard that name for a long time.
Yeah. Well, we weren't in there very long.
No, I was escorted out as fast as I was allowed to go in. I think I left faster than I definitely came in. That's for sure. Yeah.
I'm sure that was Thai whiskey we've been drinking.
Yeah,
they were the days. They were the days.
Cut on me. That's why I stay in. I've got a lot of suspended sentences in a lot of places. I have to be careful. Thank goodness for the smartphone. It can alert you now. You can kind of put a little ring around places, and it can just alert you in your pocket. You are entering within a half-mile radius of Monsoon Poon.
So is that why you haven't been in Mount Smart?
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Well, it's just
got a litany of excuses.
It's just another one on the list. Yeah, that's right.
It's going to come down. I'd love if you came down and you're on the Jumbotron eventually, Matt, you know, when the cameras pick someone out and you're like...
Just like...
and the whole crowd cheers.
My daughters are mad to get on it. They can't wait to get down there again. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And anyone that's been... talks, like I think Robbie mentioned before, that the club have put on such an amazing experience. Everyone that's been, whatever day they went, has a good experience, whether they were big football fans before, whether they're getting back into it or what, you know. I mean, and that's really part of this, you know. It's great. It's really great.
Yeah.
Maybe.
All right.
Maybe we'll hit a certain amount of subscribers, and I'll make my way down.
Yeah.
There we
Thousand subscribers, and Matt goes to the game. There we go.
And then 2,000 subscribers. You can put me in front of Lilywood, and you can all have a shout at me and say,
Matt will stop going to the games.
Yeah, I'll stop going. That's right. You get to 2,000, I go back home because you can see why I never went in the first place.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. So yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching out there. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Please do subscribe. Please do give us a like. We all, anyone that comes on this podcast, myself included, we all do this for the love of it. We're driven by a passion for football. We're tied by the city, Auckland, and we're along for the ride. So it's been, from my point of view, it's been wonderful to start this podcast and be joined by so many other football lovers, and also the fact that I'm talking to people out and about, and they're kind of like they're behind the team, behind the podcast and everything. So it's great. Tell your friends, get them listening, get it downloaded, get it on the bus on the way into that boring city if you're going into work. Just chuck it on, enjoy it.
And shout out to everyone who dropped a comment tonight. Thank you very much. John Giamatti, Phil Metcalf. Yeah, Phil Metcalf was the man who gave me my first. I recognize you from the pod. So thank you, Phil. Angela Tyro, all the comments. If I didn't chat your name out, sorry, but very much appreciated. Keep them coming.
Yeah, cheers.
Lovely. Thank you. Well, thank you, Samson, for coming in, mate. Good to see you again. Hopefully bump into you again soon.
I'll be
cheers,
around.
Man. Good on you.
you.
All right, Matt, no worries. Matt and Robbie, thank you very much. And that was a nice drop report. Thank you very much for watching or listening. We will see you next time. Thank you.
Up the port.
Up the port.
Up the port. Yeah.
Let's forget.